I'm the kind of person that wants to honor my body. Okay, so if we can take that example, right? The goal is I want to eat healthier. The identity is I'm the kind of person who wants to honor my body. If we can lay that foundation of, hey, this is who I am, and I talked about earlier, our actions follow accordingly. Well, I'm the kind of person who honors their body. And so guess what? It's much easier to make that jump, to be able to say, so therefore, I want to eat healthier. It's not even I want, it's I will. Right? Because if I'm the type of person who honors my body, I will eat healthier. So here's another example of that, or reframing. So the framing of goal is I want to speak more confidently. Okay? I mean, for many of us, that might be a practical goal that we have. I want to speak more confidently. But when we start to reframe that and we look at that within this idea of an identity shift, it might be something like this. I'm a communicator and I have something to say. Okay, so if we can embrace this idea of who am I? Well, I'm a communicator and I've got something to say. So therefore, I'll speak more confidently. Is this starting to connect with you? Is it like starting to make sense? Man, I recognized years ago when I first started to become aware of this idea of not just setting goals, not just working toward habit formation, but starting to actually do the deeper work of identity shift. Man, what a difference it made. I want to mention just a quick story about a client I worked with recently. Just make up a name. Let's call this client Jessica. I'll call her Jess for short. So Jess came in and she remember her sitting with me and she said like, I want to stop self-sabotaging. Okay, I want to stop self-sabotaging. And here's what was happening with Jess. Like she would keep signing up for things and then quitting halfway, feeling stuck over and over and over. Like she might start an exercise plan and then quit halfway, or she might get a gym membership and then not follow through. She started a nutrition plan and didn't reach the finish line and didn't complete it. She signed up for a 5K and then pulled out before it was done. There's just time after time after time, again, what she's called, I just want to stop self-sabotaging, meaning I constantly sign up for things and then fall short, don't follow through, don't make it to the finish line. And she was not just feeling stuck, she was like feeling deflated. She was frustrated. She just didn't know how to move forward. So when we started to get to like the underneath the surface, we discovered that she actually held this very real belief. And that belief was something to the effect of like, I'm just the kind of person who doesn't really follow through. That's just who I am. And it was in that moment, it was like a really powerful moment when we start to identify, hey, what's the core belief in all of this? I'm just the kind of person who just doesn't follow through. That's like a type of person who just doesn't finish things. So I asked her to try something for her probably seemed radical. And it was not to change her habits, but it was to shift her identity. And it's the type of work that exactly what we're talking about right now. So I remember with her in my office, I have a whiteboard in my office, and I remember going to the whiteboard and I said, let's just like come up with a statement. Let's craft a statement together that might help you embrace a new belief. You might be able to shift your identity. So I wrote this down, and it was something like this. I am someone who follows through on what matters. That's it. She crafted this new statement. I'm someone who follows through on what matters. Then I challenged her. I said, all right, Jess, if this is going to become the new core belief, if this is what you're going to embody and this is what you're going to embrace, I want you to put this like on a Post-it note. I want to put it like on the dash of your car. I want this to make the screensaver on your phone. I want you to write this on your mirror at home. I want you to put this on the fridge in the kitchen, everywhere you can look. I want you to remember this phrase and repeat it as often as you can. I am someone who follows follows through on what matters. And so here's what's crazy. She started to make what we might call micro decisions, like these little, tiny, what might seem kind of small and insignificant decisions, one at a time. And what I mean by one at a time, it didn't like radically shift the next day, the next week, even the next month. It was like little by little. One of the mantras we have is small steps makes big progress. And that's what she was doing. She was just making small steps, these micro decisions, one at a time. And guess what? Over a few months, she started to follow through. Why did she follow through? Not because she just added more challenges to her plate or things that she signed up for or things that she intended to follow through and accomplish. No, she shifted and changed her identity, right? From this core belief of I'm the type of person who doesn't really follow through and finish things to this idea of I am someone who follows through on what matters. So Jess became that version of herself. Isn't that cool? So the habits didn't change her identity, but actually it was the identity that started to change her habits. So here's, I want you to take a moment and just reflect with me. What's one limiting label or belief that you've been carrying and holding on to that you're ready to release? For some of you might be like, right there, like you got it. For others of you, might have to dig a little bit deeper, but think about that for a moment. You can jot this question down if you need to come back to it. What's one limiting label or belief you've been carrying that you are ready to release? Okay, I want to give us some practical kind of strategies around this. One we're just going to call these. There's just 3 of them. So like these 3 steps to your identity shift. So the first step 1 is I want to go back to the very beginning when I asked you to visualize your future self. Okay, if we're going to actually start to shift our identity, we have to be able to visualize the type of person, not just that we hope to be, actually the type of person that we're meant to be, the type of person that we are created to be. So ask yourself this: if nothing held you back, who would you become? Right? If nothing was dragging you down, nothing was holding you back, nothing was in your way, who would you become? And then consider this. Describe how that vision and that version of you talks and walks and eats and rests and relates and leads. I mean, just start to visualize this future version of you, right? In any aspect, and it's good, like in every aspect. The person that you are meant to be. Okay, got it? That's step 1. So step 2 is this. I want you to act as if, that's true. Act as if you are in the works, in the making. You are actually that person today, right? A work in progress. So step 2, again, act as if. Come up with maybe like this mantra. Like, what would the future me do? Use that as your mantra. Okay, so you're maybe back to the example we had is, rather than the goal of I want to be someone who eats healthy, right? Embracing this idea of identity of I'm the type of person who honors my body. Okay, so that's the type of person I am. So this mantra, what would the future me do? So think about it this way. It's 9 o'clock at night and I'm hungry. So would the future me order a pizza? Would the future me dig through the freezer to find some ice cream? Might the future me find some piece of fruit, maybe some nuts, right? Start to think about, okay, this future version of me, or maybe the future of you, right? This person who, I'm the type of person who honors my body. So maybe I'm going to have a small snack, but it's not going to be sugary and it's not going to be filled with carbs, right? At 9 o'clock at night. Or maybe I'm the type of person that says, hey, you know what, I can wait till breakfast. And I'm going to just choose not to have that snack or give in to that urge. Right? That's different than this habit formation that just says, hey, I'm choosing to shift my habit. Okay, so just like I talked about with this example with the client named Jess, as a part of this act as if, I want you to take small and consistent steps in that direction. Right? Asking yourself, what would the future me do? Take those small steps in that direction. And here's an encouragement to you. You don't actually, you don't have to fake it. Why? Because you're practicing it. You don't have to pretend like this is what the future me would do, or an alternate version of me would do, but no. This is actually you. So small, again, those micro decisions that I talked about with my client. Make one step at a time, one choice at a time. And then step 3, and this idea of identity shift, is reinforce with repetition. So every action is a vote for the identity you want to adopt. Think about that. Every action is a vote for the identity you want to adopt. Again, you've embraced this future version of you. You've shifted some kind of core belief that you have from something that's unhelpful to move you in that direction to something that's more helpful, because you're not just setting a goal, you're embracing it as who you are as a person, as in your identity. And you're going to make those just small, simple choices. So again, back to the healthy eating part, right? So I'm a healthy person, right? I'm going to honor my body. So what do healthy people do? Well, healthy people drink water. So I'm going to just make that conscious choice because I'm a healthy person. Or maybe it's not even dietary. Healthy people get out and they move. They move 30 minutes a day. And so because I'm a healthy person, that's just the decision I've already made, right? I'm going to get some exercise. I'm going to move my body because that's who I am. I'm a healthy person. Okay, so this other part of reinforce with repetition is not just do it, but keep doing it over and over, the repetition part. So this idea of don't wait until you believe this fully. Like, act as if it just comes naturally. Right? You don't have to wait until, like, well, maybe initially today, you're like, well, I have this new mantra. All right, like I talked about with my client, Jess, she had one. And even though it took her time to really start to embrace and embed this idea for her, in the meantime, she was willing to act on it, just to live in it. And that's what I'm asking you to do. All right, with reinforcement. Do it again and again and again. So let's go back and just review those 3 steps of identity shift. Again, visualize the future you. So describe that version of you, how you talk, walk, eat, rest, lead. Step 2, act as if. You're going to come up with that mantra, like what would the future version of me do? And then you're actually going to start to take small, consistent steps in that direction. And then this reinforce with repetition, this idea that every action, every choice, every micro decision is a vote for the identity you want to adopt. All right, so I'm going to give you this before we wrap up. Just think about if you wanted to take this into maybe a challenge. In fact, as I was kind of preparing for today, it made me think about, and I'm sure we'll do this at some point in the future, some 14-day challenge that will build around this idea of identity shift. But for today, I just want to give you, let's map out 7 days. Okay, so I'm going to just outline this briefly for you. And I want you to consider this, a 7-day identity shift challenge. So we're actually going to start with these things that I just shared earlier. So today, if you're going to make today day 1, you're just going to do the work of, you're going to ask the question about the future you, the one that we talked about earlier. So write from the future you. So what does my day look like? What do I believe now? Right? Start to jump into this idea of what's the future me? What is it saying to me? How am I wanting or willing to embrace that future version of me that I can actually practice today, because that's who I'm becoming. All right, so tomorrow, if I'm thinking about day 2, and I'll just map out again these 7 days, this will be fun. I want you to dress or move like that person. I want you to mimic the future version of you. So wear or carry yourself as the future version. So like if the future version of you wears different clothes, like dress that way. If future version of you, we talked about one of the examples earlier, is being more confident, then I challenge you to just start communicating with more confidence. If the future version of you is making habits around your eating, making shifts in your identity that follow with your habits, just start to do it. Okay, day 3, I want you to affirm out loud. So, I am the kind of person who, and then fill in the blank. Okay, this is where we adopt that mantra. I am the type of person who, right? We're coming up with this mantra that's going to replace the old core belief. Day 3, we're going to start to embrace a new core belief. And as I said earlier, and we're going to say it over and over and over and over, this idea of repetition. Day 4, we're going to say no to the old you. So when you get to day 4, there's actually going to be something that's just, it's embedded in your lifestyle, it's part of your routine. You probably don't even think about it anymore. Day 4, you're going to consciously choose to say no to the old version of you. No, I'm not going to go back for seconds, or I'm not going to grab that cookie that's on the counter, or I'm not going to play that extra video game, or binge watch that extra TV show, or scroll social media for the extra length, or have the alcoholic drink, or whatever it is, like fill in the blank, or extend my workday and not spend some time to myself, or not spend time with friends or family. No, you're going to say no to the old self. Day 4. Day 5, you're going to take one bold action, which is you're going to do this. You're going to simply challenge yourself to do one thing outside of your comfort zone. Something that the future you embraces, but the current or former you has maybe struggled to do. So you're going to step out in boldness on day 5. Day 6, you're going to track a win. Okay, you're going to actually pay attention, and you're going to actually celebrate one thing that has aligned with the new you. Like a decision that you've made over whether it was day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and or in day 6, right? Something that you have made a conscious decision. You've shifted your behavior, your habit. Day 6, you're going to celebrate that. You're going to track a win. And day 7, you're going to reflect and recommit. You're just going to go back and look over the week. Hey, what's the future me? What's my mantra? What's the shift in behavior that I've started to make? What's what I'm able to say no to myself? What am I affirming out loud? What bold action am I taking? What thing am I celebrating? Okay, in day 7, you're gonna just reflect on all of that, and then you're gonna recommit, because then this isn't just a 7-day challenge that we get to the end of it, check a box, or give a high five. No, this is actually the beginning of embracing the new you. Got it? This was a lot. If you need to go back and like rewind a little bit and just write all this down, I encourage you to do that. So here's what's important about all this is you don't have to like hustle harder. I think that's really important. I think so often that's exactly what we try to do. We try to hustle harder. This isn't about working harder. This is about shifting our mindset. Remember I said at the very beginning, identity leads and habits follow. So your future self isn't waiting for you to earn it. Right? It's not just about grinding it out. It's not about earning it. It's about embodying it, embracing it. Right here, right now, today. This is who I am, and I'm going to start to live it out today and every day going forward. And just like I talked about that client, Jess, we're going to just make a conscious choice to be able to say, hey, I no longer choose to be stuck with who I was. Like I'm showing up today for who I am becoming. All right, Man, this was a lot to kind of jump into today, but I know this is something that it's made a significant difference in my life, and I know it can make a significant difference in your life. Again, this focus on, hey, let's just not set goals. Let's just not try to do the work of behavioral modification or habit formation, but let's start with the foundation of identity shift. All right, it's great to be with you guys today. Wednesday, Dr. Mike will be with us as we do Wellness Wednesday. I'll be back for Faithful Friday.